So in this video, we're going to find confidence intervals with unknown population parameters, and in this example, we don't know the standard deviation. So we'll start by reading the problem. A survey of 23 individuals found that they spent an average of $39.48 on headphones to use for exercising. The margin of error for a 95% confidence interval was found to be 21.2. What are the lower and upper limits of the confidence interval, and what was the standard deviation of the sample? So we'll start with what we already know, which is the sample mean is 39.48. And our alpha, we calculate alpha by using the percentage of the confidence interval and subtracting that from 100%. So 100% minus 95% is 5%, and as a decimal, it's 0.05. Now we'll go to the margin of error, which we are given is 21.2. And the sample size is 23. So now from this we can calculate our lower confidence interval limit. So for the lower limit, you take your average, the sample mean, and you subtract the margin of error. Now for your upper limit, you do the same thing, except you take the sample mean and you add the margin of error. So we get 18.28 and 60.68. Now we can go on to finding the standard deviation of the sample, as stated in the second question. So how we're going to do this is we're going to basically work backwards from the margin of error equation. So we already have the margin of error, we already have our sample size, we're finding sigma, so what we're missing is our t-score right here. So in order to find the t-score in Excel, you use t.inv, and it's two-tailed because you found the upper and lower limit, so it's a two-tailed test. And now you enter your probability, which is alpha, and your degrees of freedom. So to find the degrees of freedom, you take your sample size, 23, and you subtract 1, so 22. And now that is your t-score, 2.07. Now we can go to find sigma. So how we would find this is we go back to our formula and we reverse it to find sigma. So you would take the margin of error, and as this was dividing before, now you're going to multiply. So take the margin of error and multiply it by the square root of n, and then you're going to divide by t to set it up so it's sigma equals margin of error times the square root of n divided by t. So we'll do that right here. The margin of error, 21.2, and we'll multiply it by the square root of the sample size, and we'll divide that by t, and we get 49.025. So that is how you find a confidence interval when you don't know all the population parameters, and how to calculate the standard deviation of a sample when you're not given it.